offered solutions, but will Congress act on them anytime soon? I'm joined tonight by members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and that is Congresswoman Donna Edwards of Maryland, Congressman Keith Ellison of Minnesota, and Chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver of Missouri. Great to have all of you with us tonight. Congressman Cleaver, let's talk about the jobs fair that you folks have been going to all summer long. Did you hear the president get the message, and did he return it? It needed to be sent to the American people tonight on the jobs issue.
There's no question about it. We went all over this country. We drew attention to the lack of jobs by Americans. There's no question about what happened this summer. We drew or attracted the attention of the president and of this nation, for that matter. And so I'm very satisfied with the direction the president is moving. I think that this is a jolt to a jittery unemployment situation and a jittery and sometimes uneasy economy. And the president stepped up to the plate. He did it in a very strong way.
Congresswoman Edwards, the Congressional Black Caucus at times has been rather critical of President Obama for not going far enough. He did mention black unemployment tonight, the youth of America that is struggling in many respects. Does this bill have a chance? Do you think it will ring with Republicans and get them in gear and get them into action?
Well, I always thought the president didn't have to throw a Hail Mary pass this evening, but he needed to go long, and he did that. What he said to the American people is, for those of you who are long-term unemployed, we need to focus our energies on you. We need to invest in research and development and innovation and manufacturing. That's about job creation. Looking at our nation's crumbling infrastructure, that's about job creation. And so I actually feel like the president really spoke to the American people, all sectors of the American public, but particularly those who are among African American communities who are among some of the highest unemployed.
Congressman Ellison, you know, there's no question about it that the president offered up some caveats to the Republicans tonight, reducing the corporate tax rate, telling the base that they got to take a haircut on Medicare and Medicaid. How's this going to play? How's this going to play in the middle of the country? And do you think Americans that have been hit so hard in the middle class are willing to go even farther?
Well, I really liked the speech tonight, and it did reflect what we in the Progressive Caucus heard all summer as well. But those things, I thought, undermined what I thought was a very good speech. At the end of the day, I do think that closing corporate loopholes, asking the military to give more to get America back to work, are the ways to go. And to say that we have to take it out of Medicare and Medicaid, I thought was unfortunate. I don't think it'll play well, but at the same time, he started a national debate. Last point, I think that it's important to reform Medicare by allowing Medicare Part D to negotiate for drug prices, which is something that the VA does now. Perhaps there are some savings there.
What did you hear that really impressed you, Congressman Cleaver, when it comes to putting Americans back to work? The word infrastructure was not in the speech tonight, but there was a lot of talk about redoing schools, 35,000 schools, making sure veterans had an opportunity to get a job when they came home. What about all that? What did you hear? What was most appealing to you when it comes to creating jobs?
Well, the president was very targeted in his method of addressing unemployment. He targeted veterans coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan, saying that in his bill there would be tax breaks for corporations who hired them. He targeted young people, summer jobs. He targeted the long-term unemployed. He targeted small businesses and people who are in desperate need for just a little more money.
Do you think he felt pressure from your caucus, Congressman Cleaver? Do you think that he felt, I got to step up and say something strong tonight to the African American community in this country?
Well, I think he obviously heard what we were doing and saying, but he stepped up to the plate, but he didn't do it in a nasty way. He understands clearly that he can't, he's going to have difficulty getting across in a cross way. So he did it in a very pleasant way, but he was tough, and I like that.
Well, there was no mention of the wars tonight, and if you want to go to the money and if you want to find spending cuts, there's no better place than Iraq and Afghanistan. Congresswoman Edwards, what do you make of that?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, but I do think that it's going to be incumbent on the Congress to be focused on how we actually move a jobs package forward. I mean, what the president was saying to us tonight is, I'm going to lay out these ideas, and Congress, you have to act on them. And, you know, one of the ways that we can act on them, I'm sure that we can agree, one of the ways that you can act on them is getting ourselves disengaged from Iraq and from Afghanistan. I mean, that clearly has to, in my view, it has to be part of the picture. But what I like that I heard from the president is that he's saying that he's going to go around the country and he's going to fight for this. We need the president to fight for this package so that we can do our job in the United States Congress and talk to Republicans, frankly, about some of these Republican ideas that will help move the country forward. And it's actually should be bipartisan, always has been, to rebuild our roads, our bridges, and all of our infrastructure.
And Congressman Ellison, do you feel confident that this might be a new beginning with John Boehner, with a conciliatory statement that he released after the speech tonight? I mean, is this possibly a new day dawning and the Republicans are actually willing to do something within the next window of 14 months before the election?
You know, Ed, I'm an eternal optimist, and I believe that there is a way to do this. I think we're going to need the American people, as Donna just pointed out. But, you know, look, some of these ideas were brought from both sides of the aisle. There's absolutely no reason for them to project out of hand, and so far they haven't done so. So at this point, we're just going to push hard, and we're going to hope for the best from the other side of the aisle.
I appreciate all three of you joining us tonight on the program. I must say that